My name is Melek Pulatkonak. I am the curator and the founder of the Turkish Women's International Network. And my dream is to have a network of 10,000 women with cultural, professional, and family ties to Turkey by 2014. In my playground, I have TurkishWIN.com, a website, that's going to convince you to invest in this network. So you and I, we both will have to connect. We will be able to connect to the 9,998 other amazing women who share the same values. And these values are curiosity, courage, transparency, and generosity. And to touch upon this, you have to understand a little bit of my story and where I'm coming to want to make this wish and make this dream possible. I'll start with these 4 pillars, and one of them is the family. So these chicks out there, far on your right, is my aunt, Asuman Polat. In the center is my mother, and on the other side is another friend. So these women are one of the most amazing, strong-willed, and smartest women I know, and I had the privilege of having them tell me and ask me the question of what do you want to do, as opposed to telling me what I should be doing or what I'm good or cut out to be doing with my education and background. My aunt, Asuman Polat, emigrated to the United States in the 60s. She became a very successful entrepreneur. She has her own brand, Asuman Gowns, and when in the 80s, men and women were emigrating first time to New York, they would walk around the block where she has a building on 57th Street between 5th and 6th with her name outside that said Asuman Gowns and said, well, she's made it, so I can make it too. She was a role model for a lot of women and men at the time, and she's been a big role model for me, and I had the benefit to have her in my close quarters, to have her reflect and give me advice and be my sounding board. She's always been very supportive. On the other side, I have my mother, who is here with us tonight, and she's one of the most positive and strong-willed women I know. And she's been my cheerleader along with my aunt. And not only were they amazing people to give me, this confidence, but they also supported each other. And this aunt is my father's sister. They are not technically related. I've seen them support each other over the ups and downs in life. And that showed me the power of friendship and the power of the girlfriends that one can have. And in my 20s, I figured out not everybody has such amazing role models in their lives. A lot of my friends are struggling with can't do's. And why do you do? Why don't you do something else? Kind of negative support. And I wanted to build a network that could reverse that for others, where we can connect with each other. I started collecting amazing girlfriends, and I had a head start with the Austrian high school. I graduated from the science division of the Austrian high school, which was all girls, and I started collecting amazing women across my life. And they have their superpowers, they have their decisions, they do wonderful things, and their stories and what they shared with me guide me in my decisions for life. I learn from them. Sometimes, when I think I'm insane, I look back and see perhaps I'm not that insane. Other people who are like me are making similar choices. And then in 2009, I started getting increasingly obsessed with TED. This is a conference for technology, entertainment, and design, and not the TED College in Ankara. And I started organizing TEDx events in New York City that are locally licensed TED events. I started going to the conferences. I had the privilege to see the environment when people in a trust network come together and there is a certain selection process, and they have the similar values. And for those, I will say, I'll go on a limb for TED to say, there are curiosity and enthusiasm for collaboration. I saw magic happen. People from different disciplines come together, and they want to collaborate, they want to do something together. So I took that experience, and I wondered what I could do to replicate something similar for different demographics. And last but not least is the mentoring. Early in my career, I did seek out men and women who have been more accomplished and smarter and wiser and older than I am. And in my 30s, I had the urge and also the homesickness living in New York to connect with a young girl in Turkey, to be her mentor. And in this organization, it's called Yönder, to change her life, to do something positive. And it took a lot of work and some references from friends for me to get an introduction to İlker, an organization that selects women, girls around 13 years of age first, where these girls are going usually to a boarding school, and they get a scholarship, but they also get a mentor along their journey for success to go and get their university education. And then there's a program for the university kids. So in my wisdom, in our started conversation with my girl, Leyla, I asked her about her objectives and what she would like to accomplish in this relationship. And she put it in perspective for me. Leyla has grown up in a village in Yozgat, and her dream has been to go and live in Kırşehir. And she is now living her dream to be in a boarding school in Kırşehir Fen Lisesi. And she said to me, I'm 13, I'm leaving my mom's home for the first time. It would be wonderful if you wouldn't leave me alone. So in the last 4 years, along with my family, we had this journey where I have learned so much from her, remembered what I felt like when I was at that age, with all of the possibilities out there, and the challenges she's trying to overcome to get an education and to go to college, and the weight on her shoulder. But going back to the first point, it took a lot of effort for me to connect with someone. So in my wish list of things, I realized I really want more inspiration and success stories. I want to have a network that embraces not only business women, but women in arts, women in academia, women who are leading NGOs, women of passion who share the same values like at TED. I would like my friends to become mentors more easily. Most of you most likely would like to do it, but it's not easy enough to do it. So if it's not easy enough, if it's not actionable, it's not done. And I wish, that I have a network that enables many-to-many introductions. And my friends know I do a lot of one-on-one. So I'm like a Rolodex. People ask they need something, and I'll try to find that person and make that introduction. But it takes a lot of time and is not very efficient. So if there's a platform where many people connect to other people, that will be so much more easier. And last but not least, because I am stationed in New York, there is this urge of women overseas to connect to women in Turkey. It may have some personal reasons, like them wanting to have their kids do internships, or it could be that they would like to build libraries and they would like to mentor other younger women. But there is this need to connect to, as well as locally, overseas to where we come from. So with that spirit, TurkishWIN was launched in November of 2010. It's a very young organization. Our values are, as I mentioned early on, courage, curiosity, transparency, and generosity. And so far, we had 4 events in New York, and at the events in New York, we feature 1 speaker each. Here, we have so many amazing women, and in New York, we're a smaller community. And to give you a flavor of the talks, Müge Yüzoğak is a global executive, and she's a board member of the American Field Service, AFS. So she talked about intercultural learning. Idil Çakım is a senior VP at Golden Harris, a PR firm. Her expertise is word of mouth marketing. Elmira Baraslı is a writer. She talked about the nomads culture and entrepreneurship in Turkey. And Defne Ayas is an art curator who lives in Shanghai in New York, and she talked about the goddess culture. So the talks are on intellectual ideas. This is an idea platform that enables networking, it enables mentorship. Our upcoming events are going to be a small luncheon with former Senator Bill Bradley at Ellen & Company. This is going to be a closed luncheon for 8 people to talk about leadership. And our next event in Istanbul will take place at Kagidar on June 7th with the theme Art of the Start. The activities are now in New York and Istanbul, and we are going to open chapters in Boston, San Francisco, and London very shortly. So how do we make this connection and inspiration possible? And I have talked a lot about this. The TurkishWIN talks are online for everyone to view, so you can go to TurkishWIN talks and watch them. And all of the talks tonight are going to be recorded and uploaded shortly. We have a mentoring program. This is a members-only functionality we have. So as a member, you can apply to become a mentor or a mentee, where you set your objectives and decide how you want to connect with other women. So it's much easier to connect with someone else. And we provide online tools that encompass LinkedIn groups, search functionalities. From my Columbia Business School experience, we have put this list server so people who are subscribed to the same list server can connect with each other. And now is my call to play. This is my playground, and the network of my dreams will only emerge if everyone invests. I cannot make it happen alone. If enough people wish it and become members and join TurkishWIN, we will be able to play together and achieve the goal of the 10,000 women. Thank you.